ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد. One of the weirdest, difficult, unique people to debate with in Islam from amongst the Muslims is the mentality of the Muslim who is engaged with what everyone else is doing, but they forget themselves. He points out the mistakes and the uyub of everybody else, but in the process, he forgets himself. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم. Don't be like those people who they forgot about Allah and Allah made them forget about themselves. They were so preoccupied with what Fulan and Alan is doing and not doing that they forget their own selves. As a khatib, as an imam, a person teaching, I have to be the most careful person of that. Getting before the people and advising the people, and I forget my own self, I forget my own family, I forget my own children. The scholars of Islam used to say that person is like a candle. He burns and the light, people get benefit, but he's burning himself. I'm gonna forget my own kids, so I have to remind myself of this. From the people who are like that, you find people of the madahib are like that, people of these jama'at are like that. Muslims are like that. But there's one group that I want to briefly touch upon. And they are those people who really are preoccupied with the hukam, the leaders of the Muslims. The hukam, they're kuffar. There are Muslims like that. And I'm sure it comes from a good place. It comes because they have hirs and ghayra for Islam. That's where it's coming from. And in saying this, it's not like I'm defending the hukam and I'm against the one who wants the deen. But that ghayra and that hirs has to be in its proper place. You are also a hakim. All of us are hukam. Everybody here. You are leading your own house. The Prophet told the people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, another man cannot lead a man in his sultan. When you come to a man's house, you can't lead him in salat in his sultan. He has a table where they eat food. He sits at one end, the kids on this side and the mother there maybe. You can't go and sit in his chair unless he allows you. That's his sultan. Everybody here is a khalifa in his house. And the call here is establish the khilafah in your house. And Allah will establish the khilafah in the earth. So I'm outside and I'm saying the hukam. We have to make khuruj and takfir and hukam. And in my own house, I have a lot of issues. So it's that nu'iyah, this person I want to talk about a little bit. I'm trying to make a point here. And the point is, it is a fact that we have hukam are a problem. But as the Salaf of this ummah used to say, the way you are is the way your leaders will be. كَمَا تَكُونُونَ يُوَلَّ عَلَيْكُمْ. The way you are is the way your leaders are going to be. So the leaders of the Muslims are a direct reflection of the Muslims. Are you like Umar? Are you like Ali? Am I like Bilal ibn Rabah? In our knowledge, in our tadhiyah, in our practices, are we like that? So when we look at the hukam, why are we like that? Now, one of the biggest mistakes that the hukam make, and this is the point, is that as long as the Muslim countries have bought into the IMF, International Monetary Fund, as long as that happens, that Muslim country is in trouble. Africa, South America, the so-called third world countries, any country that has bought into the International Monetary Fund, you are in trouble. And white people and the people who control those institutions are going to control your country. That's the problem with Nigeria and Senegal and Gambia and Gabon and Rwanda. All of Africa is like that. And I don't care how much oil you have, how much gold and diamonds you have, if the IMF has you and these other international institutions of finance of the West, you are in trouble because of the system of the debt, the system of the dame, not so much the political system, it's about that money. Being in debt is a problem. It's a problem in our religion. And it's a crazy thing in that there's not a single person in this first row except that he's in debt. Everybody in this first row owes somebody some money. And the second row and the third row. And many of you, I don't even know you. Do I know the ilm al-ghayb? I don't know the ilm al-ghayb. Hasha lillah. Only Allah knows the ilm al-ghayb. But I know the way the system is. One of our young brothers, he's graduating and he wants to get on with his life. He wants to go to the university. He has to get in debt in order to qualify and to become someone who's going to help his family and society. Where's the justice in that? That's the system of capitalism, the system of Christianity and Judaism, Zionism. That's the system. So when the hukam of the Muslims, and I'm not into that hukam, but I am into you, the one who's making takfir of the hukam, and your aql is mutasallat on those hukam. You're one of the people in our community that owes people money right here today. And you won't give him his money. You owe people money and you're existing, praying, fasting, trying to do the right thing. And you don't even realize a debt, it is hammu billayl. It will make you really worry during the nighttime. And it will make you sleepless during the night. And it is a mania, stop you from going to Jannah. Again, I want to repeat again. Everybody in this masjid has debts. The Prophet of Islam used to make dua, and he used to say, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min ghalabat ad-dayn wa qahr al-rijal. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from being overwhelmed by debt. And right after that, and being overpowered by men. Because if a guy has you in debt and he has you in his pocket, it's as if he controls you, as you see. As you're going to see. As we can see in the Muslim world, in the third world countries, we have all the oil, we have all of the natural resources, we have gas, we have people who are smart, we have all of that stuff in Africa. The richest continent in the world. And look how backwards it is. Bad leaders who have signed up to be under the supervision of the IMF. It is not the Obamas of the world who rule this world. It's those financial institutions who rob, cheat, and they do whatever they want. And as citizens, global citizens, we have to bail them out. Debt is a problem. The Nabi told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, la tukhifu anfusakum. Don't make yourselves terrorized. Don't terrorize your own self. Don't make yourself afraid. A religion that tells us that izzah is with the Muslim. He has to be a man. He's not that person when we call on his kids in school and we want them to answer, even if he doesn't know the answer. We want him to say, I don't know, like a man. That's your job as the father of that kid, to develop his personality, to develop him so that he's not afraid to be a Muslim. You tell him what his name means. You tell him where he comes from. And I have respect for the Somali community, that Jariyah, where you take one of those kids and say, what's your name? And that boy will say, my name is Ahmed ibn Abdullah ibn Sulayman, and he'll go 15 names into his ajdad, remembering his kabila, his language, his religion. That's our religion. We come here and we want to like salt and like sugar. We want to melt into the melting pot. So as it relates to the issue of the debt, La tukhifu anfusakum. Don't terrorize yourselves. Ya Rasulullah, how would one of us terrorize himself? He said, bidain, by taking debts. Again, every person in the masjid has a debt. How is that? The little boy didn't even work yet. He's going to inherit debt. There's generational debt. There's an issue in our religion where we'll come to that, inshallah. I want to make it clear. As it relates to debts, all debts are not bad. Debts are something that are part of human nature. It has to happen because you're going to need people. You don't have enough. I'm going to need you. You're going to need me for something. That's life. That's why we have to have a ta'awun between ourselves. That's why Islam is a religion of being sociable. Yawm Jum'ah, come together. And when we see people, how you been, what's going on, where you been, what is he's in the hospital, what you need. But not all debt is bad. Allah mentioned in the Quran, من ذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا فيضاعفه له وله أجر كريم. Who from amongst you will give Allah a good debt? So that helps us know there's a good debt and there's a bad debt. Who from amongst you will give to Allah a good debt and then Allah will double that and multiply it for you and give you a great reward? The good debt is given to the masjid, helping the masjid. We're going to be having a dinner at the 1st of January. Why do we have to have a dinner? To try to get more financial assistance from the community. We shouldn't have to have dinners for that. We should have a community dinner where we just come together and we eat. But we have to get a community dinner as a way to get more money. And we ask you, brothers, to support that initiative. That's the good loan. A lady, she is a widow. A kid is an orphan. That's a good debt. The Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's a Sayyid of Bani Adam. He borrowed 40,000 from a man. 40,000. The hadith didn't say dirham or what? 40,000. Why? Because he wasn't rich with money. He was from those people who didn't have money. And he made dua to Allah to cause him to enter the Jannah with the Masakin. He went to a man, I need money. 40,000. And when the Prophet got the money back, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave it to the man and made dua. Allahumma barakallahu ta'ala laka fi ahlik wa malik. And they put that in the manaqib of that man, the fadail of that man, that he gave the money, gave it back, and the Prophet made dua for that person bi'aynihi. 40,000. So the debt is not inherently bad. It's an opportunity. It's a door from the doors of Jannah. From those things that can make Allah pleased with you. He died, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Nabi of Islam, and his weapons. He said, Ju'ila li rizqi tahta dhil rumhi. My sustenance has been made under the shade of the spear. Meaning, Rasulullah was a man, and he would fight for his religion. And in fighting for this religion, he would take some of the spoils of war. And yet, when he died, his sword, his spear, his saddle, his weapons of war, they were with a Jewish man, marhuna, as collateral. Prophet Muhammad needed from the man some food. He needed flour and this and that. He went and got it and gave the man his weapons, and he died. When he died, he didn't die Medunin. He didn't die indebted. The man had collateral. The man took the money. He sold the weapons, he had the money. So debt is not a problem by itself. It's the kind of debt you have. It's the debt of the man in the masjid. He won't give the man his money. And he goes out to the restaurant to eat. He goes to Hajj. You can't go to Hajj with that man's money. You can't get married. You got that man's money. And you know you have that man's money. We're not talking about the debt to the electric company and the gas company where this stuff is getting higher and higher and higher. They're oppressing us. You have to pay them. But I'm not talking about that oppressive debt that we have to fall. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the debt where you borrowed money from people. The unnecessary debt of using a credit card and now you're indebted. As for the gas and all that stuff, electric, all that stuff, then we ask Allah to help us all. All of us are in that. All of us are in that. As it relates to the issue of the debt, Ummatul Islam, as you sit there, I remind you, give the people their money back. Give the man his money back. The Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, brought that Quran. The longest, if you ask someone, what is the greatest surah of the Quran? Everybody's going to say Surah Al-Fatiha. What is the greatest ayat of the Quran? He's going to say Ayatul Kursi. What is the longest surah of the Quran? He's going to say Surah Al-Baqarah is the longest. What is the longest ayat of the Quran? The longest ayat of the Quran, ayat 282, Surah Al-Baqarah, takes up the whole page. It's the only ayat of the Quran that takes up the whole page. Is it Kalam Farih? Allah just revealed that? Had nothing to do? Why was the longest ayat of the Quran about the debt? The etiquette of the debt. Because it's a serious issue. And it's an issue that not many people know the reality of it. The debt of Islam, the debt of Islam. In Islam, you know, the Prophet told his companions and he told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لا يموتن أحدكم إلا ووصيته مكتوبة عنده. None of you should die except that your wasiyah is with you. Your wasiyah is that thing when you die, you say, I owe so-and-so money, I owe money, he owes me money, he owes me money. You have to take care of this, you have to take care. In my wasiyah, I want you younger children to pay attention to Usama, your older brother. Hey, Usama, in this wasiyah, you better with your life protect your sisters. Lose your life and protect. That's my wasiyah to you. Abu Hurairah said, when I heard that hadith, I never ever slept at night except my wasiyah was written under my pillow. Majority of people have no wasiyah. It's like a will. It's like a will. But it doesn't have to be that kind of will. It's better if it is. But the point is, that wasiyah in Islam, when you die, when one of us dies, and our relatives get our money, before your children can get their money, they have to pay off the debt. That's what Allah mentioned in the Quran in Surah An-Nisa. من بعد وصية يوصي بها أو دين. من بعد وصية يوصين بها أو دين. من بعد وصية توصون بها أو دين. If a man dies and he left this, he left that, she gets this, he gets this, he gets that, and then Allah said at the end of the ayah, after the wasiyah is taken care of and after the debt. So your people are supposed to know who owe you, who you owe money, and who owe money to you. Just to go back a little. In the divorcing of Islam, you can't divorce a lady and say you're divorced and then you don't take witnesses. You say you're divorced and you have to let two witnesses know so that if she dies, we know about the debt. Do you owe her? Does she owe you? The debt has to be known. So that shows the importance of the debt in Islam. That Allah mentioned in the wasiyah. Longest ayat, before your children get your money, they have to take your debts out and give it to people. If you owe money, you don't have to give zakat on that money. If people owe you money, you don't have to give zakat on that money. It's as if that money is not there. No hajj. If you owe money, you don't have to make hajj. But who's that person with no deen who says, I'm just going to be happy I owe money so I don't make hajj? Who does that? الَّذِي لَا دِينَ لَهُ وَلَا فَهْمَ لَهُ. As it relates to the debt, everybody here knows that the Prophet was a gentleman, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he used to like to help people. The newborn baby to the day you die, he was there to support you, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And everybody in between, the person in the chair, the person in first row, the one who was not here, he was always there trying to be a service for everybody. He came and the man was dead. The man is dead. From the virtues of the companions, if the Nabi of Islam leaves your janazah, that's a big thing. Like him saying to that man, Barakallahu ta'ala laka wa li ahlika wa li malika. Rasulullah made dua for us. He made dua, but he didn't make dua for you by your name. He didn't make dua for you by your name. He made dua specifically to these individuals. So in this particular case, the man was dead. Rasulullah came to pray the janazah. He got ready to do the takbir of the janazah. He stopped for some reason. He wanted to teach the community. He said, hey, Hal Taraka Shay'a, did he leave any money behind? They said no. He said, did he leave any debt? Is he indebted? Someone said, yes, Ya Rasulullah. How much? 2 dirhams. 2 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 pounds. He borrowed 10 pounds for someone. He owes 2 dirhams. Rasulullah said, then sallu ala sahibikum. Then you pray on him. He started walking off. A man, a regular man in the audience, kunya was Abu Qatada. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I'll take care of his debt. That's the brotherhood of Islam. He wanted khayr for that man. That's loving for your brother what you love for yourself. By doing that, the Prophet prays over him. That man gets that reward because he initiated it. Someone comes to the masjid, he needs help. We're not there to help him. We close the door and don't give the person any amal about his problem. No, we're supposed to be there helping each other. I'll take care of it, Ya Rasulullah. He prayed the salah over him. After the salah, the man Abu Qatada said, every time Rasulullah saw me in the streets of Medina, he said, Abu Qatada, did you pay the debt? He said, no. Abu Qatada, did you pay the 2 dirham? No. Hey, did you pay the 2 every time he saw him in the city? No. And then finally he paid. He said when he paid, Rasulullah said to me, now his skin is being cold from being punished. For 2 dirham? 2 dirham, Ya Abdullah. $2. And all that time, he was being punished for 2 dirhams. And then as the debt, I'm saying, the hukam, they're doing this. Ya akhi, you're the biggest medyun from the whole community. And the debt that you took is the debt where you're trying to rip people off. The Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the one who takes money from the people, but he takes money in order to pay it back, Allah will pay it back for him. وَلَكِنَ الَّذِي يَأْخُذُهَا لِإِتْلَافِهَا أَتْلَفَهُ اللَّهُ. But the one who takes people's money to destroy their money, he knows he's lying. He knows he's stealing the money. And they have a debt. And Allah will destroy him and his money. So as it relates to the debt, Ikhwani, the debt in Islam is not a small issue. As you sit there, you need to be saying to yourself, I have to wake up. And I have to do something about coming up with a game plan to start dealing with this debt. Everybody knows in Islam the position of a shaheed. Living now and we want to be moderate Muslims, moderate. We're not from Daesh and we're not from these people mutshaddidun. I'm not afraid to say that. No way in the world do I want to be connected to these people. No way. But in making al-bara' minhum wa min tariqatihim, do I go to the other extreme? Now I can't talk about jihad. I can't mention anything about jihad as a Muslim. Because those people stole the word, stole the mafhum as-sahih to it. Now I have to be, I'm not going to be apologetic. Jihad is from our religion. But it has its time, it has its place, it has its people. Everybody has to be a mujahid here. And the biggest jihad is the jihad of your nafs. And if you don't make that jihad, you're not making the other jihad, the jihad of those ultimate sacrifices. So the point is, the word, the concept will keep coming up. It's connected to the debt. In Islam, there is no mathil for the shaheed, the one who got killed fi sabilillah. He made the ultimate sacrifice to put his life on the line. If you can imagine, the building is burning and someone is in that building that you have to save. It's not easy for a person going into that building knowing he can get burnt up and lose his life. Not everybody is cut like that. Not everybody can do that. That's the mentality of the mujahid and the mentality of al-Islam. When a person gets the right aqeedah, he knows la hawla wa la quwwa illa billahi. He's not afraid. And that's why the companions used to go to the non-Muslims and say, hey, I have left some people back there in Medina. They love death more than you love life. So the non-Muslims, when they heard the Muslims were coming, the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, nusirtu bil-ru'b, masiratu shah. Allah has given me victory by a month's journey. Because when the non-Muslims heard he was leaving Medina to come deal with them, they were nervous. Right now, that's not the case. The case is that jihad, we left the word, not to mention the other stuff. Anyway, that person who's a shaheed in our religion, he takes 70 of his people with him to Jannah, making a shifa. 70 people. If he gets killed, fi sabilillah, he takes 70 people. Now you know at the top of the list is mother, his father, his brother, his sisters, 70 people. The mujahid who died in shahada, he's the only one who, once he dies, he wishes he can go back to the dunya, get killed, go back to the dunya, get killed, go back to the dunya, get killed, because of the reward of getting the shahada. He has a position that is up there. The shuhada are up there with the anbiya. They are up there. And yet, the Prophet told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, يغفر للشهيد كل ذنب إلا الدين. The one who dies as a shaheed will be forgiven for everything he did. Birr walidain, zina, sariqa, everything that he did. Misprayer here, killed someone unjustly over there. He's a shaheed, but he has dhanub and ma'asi like everybody else. He will be forgiven for everything. He went to a sahir, a magician. He did magic at one time when he wasn't practicing. He made a slip, but then he made tawbah. He went to jihad. Then he didn't make tawbah, but he went to jihad with ikhlas, and it was the real jihad. Allah will forgive him for everything that he did, except a debt. And you're going to tell me that you don't think us owing people money is a big thing? No, it's a big thing. So I'm here to be a voice in your ear, in your heart. As you pray this prayer today, satisfy the money that you owe with the people. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى التوفيق والسداد. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا وطيبا مباركا فيه. From the dua of our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He used to say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-ma'tham wal-maghrib. فقال الناس يا رسول الله ما أكثر ما تستعيذ بالله تعالى من المأثم والمغرم لماذا؟ Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from the debt that causes a sin, the debt that causes me to disobey. They say, Ya Rasulullah, you're always making that dua, seeking refuge in Allah from that, always, not something you do sometimes. You're always doing it. And the man is perpetually in debt and he never makes dua to get out of the debt. Rasulullah was not in debt, but he made dua to be saved from debt. One of us, we're always in debt and we don't make dua to get out of debt. The hadith says, if you don't make dua to Allah, Allah becomes angry with you. If you don't make dua to Allah, He becomes angry with you because we need Him. Ya Rasulullah, why do you make dua from this all the time? He said, because this kind of debt, it makes a man إِذَا حَدَّثَ كَذَبَ وَإِذَا وَعَدَ أَخْلَفَ. Because this debt, if a man promises you, he breaks his promise. If a man speaks, he lies. لَا تُخِيفُ أَنفُسَكُمْ. Don't terrorize yourselves. When you owe people money, places on the earth start closing on you. You can't go to the Aqiqah. You can't go to the Walima. You can't go to the Salat of Jummah. Why? Because Fulan who gave you the money is there. He's there. I know a man, he's not even a bad person. He's a religious man. But he let his wife get into those pyramid schemes. 1 week is your money, next month is your money, He let his wife get into that. She blew the money. She blew it. Now he has to tell, yeah, I'll be there, I'll give you money. He doesn't come. We still been waiting for this cat 2 years to meet us in the masjid. 2 years we've been waiting for him. He can't come to the masjid. Why? He made himself afraid. Khawwafa nafsa. He caused the earth to become restricted on him because of the debt. Yeah, I'll pay it to you next week. Kadhab, yakdhib. So, Ummatul Islam. I'm not here to put everybody down. Everybody in this masjid is indebted. We ask Allah Ta'ala to take off our necks this duyun, to take off our shoulders these duyun, to take off our back this duyun, and not to make us of those people who not only do our children inherit generational poverty, they have to inherit generational debt like Africa. Our countries will never ever find liberation with this system, with the International Monetary Fund. And it's not about them, just as it's not about the Takfiri, Khawarij. It's about everybody here establishing the Khilaf in your homes. May Allah Ta'ala Al-Ghani, Al-Wahhab, Al-Wasi', may He give us the sustenance to get this debt off of our shoulders, and may He give us qina' in our lives. Make us of those people who are satisfied with what we have, and protect us from these credit cards, and protect our kids, inshallah, them get to the university and make a way out for them. Aqimus salat. Yarhamakum.
Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إن الله مع الذين اتقوا والذين هم محسنون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.